143 days since Loretta Lynch was nominated for Attorney General to replace Attorney General Eric Holder. Yet still, there's been no vote. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, he now claims there's going to be a vote for Lynch after the Easter break. Senators and members of Congress, they have gone home. They come back April 13th. But seriously, he also previously told us there was going to be a vote, which was a lie. And then that all of a sudden changed. And so what should happen next? Let's go right to my panel and break this thing down. Joining me on the set, we have Lauren Victoria Burke, Politic365.com. So, Lauren, we certainly appreciate you being here. We also have, of course, Avis Jones-DeWeaver. Avis, of course, you see her out there doing her thing. Plus, Joe Jones, founder and CEO of Center for Urban Families. Avis, of course, is president and CEO Insight Unlimited. So, here's the deal here. You saw a group of black women last week, of course, protested outside of Mitch McConnell's office. There should be constant action. Senators are at home. And frankly, next week should really be a week of action targeting Republican leadership, finding out where they're going to be giving speeches. Are they going to have town halls, using flash mobs to send the word out, fine, meet us here at 10 a.m., and then all of a sudden, and tell literally women's groups, sororities, civil rights groups, faith people as well, we want to pack folks there to let them know that it's time for them to get to work.
Exactly right. There should be some coalition building with obviously all the women's groups, obviously Emily's list, the usual suspects now. And also that Tea Party strategy of embarrassing people at their public events during a 2-week break is obviously...
Which the Tea Party strategy really was what strategy black folks use, so they actually took it from us. So it's not like it's a new idea.
Right, none of these things are really new ideas. As we see in the Indiana situation right now, the gay lobby is using the economic power. Then they have just well-placed people who agree with their position. So, you know, just like with Stand Your Ground, we had that sort of conversation about boycotting Florida that sort of went away. With Loretta Lynch, we should get just as serious in terms of pressuring specific people in power. And obviously we haven't done that yet, but I do think we'll probably see some of that hopefully next week.
And again, here's what you have. You've got, I mean, obviously dealt with the Beta Her sorority. They've been very vocal. Right. But again, you have chapters all across the country, graduate chapters and undergraduate chapters. And so then call upon other sorority sisters, those same women's groups. And to me, again, you treat next week, that way you can plan it, you use social media, you use traditional media to drive the narrative, because this needs to be dealt with. And here's the deal, unless you have public pressure, they are not going to schedule the vote.
And you have to have specific people.
Absolutely. I mean, last week, for example, the Black Women's Roundtable organized a wide range of women to go to Mitch McConnell's office and say, what is up? And what they were met with were Capitol Police, who surrounded them and attempted to intimidate them.
Well, actually, but McConnell's office pressured the police to almost arrest them. So yeah, the police were kind of in a situation where they had McConnell's office bothering them. But you're right. So
which is fine, because here's the deal, though. Dr. King always talked about it. I don't care in what situation you want there to be an adversary. You want there to be a protagonist and an antagonist.
Exactly. So we weren't intimidated by that. Not intimidated by those actions. In fact, we're going to ramp it up. And so exactly what you're talking about is what's being organized now in terms of actions at people's homes to let them know that when you go back, you're not going to get some solace just because you're not in the Capitol anymore. We're going to make sure that you hear us where you are, and then when you come back, we're going to be back again, because this isn't over by any stretch of the imagination.
But Joe, one of the things I think needs to happen is, if you talk about coming back, what needs to happen is there needs to be a particular day. And so I think, for instance, women's groups should say, fine, our day is going to be Tuesday. Faith folks might say our day is going to be Wednesday. Civil rights organizations say our day is going to be Thursday. That way, it's not a one-day thing. It's in the signal is said, we're going to be back here next Tuesday, and next Wednesday, and next Thursday. To me, you do that, now all of a sudden you're able to drive a media narrative. You got people now circulating stuff on social media. You got videos, live videos. You got vines. You got photos. That's what drives this narrative.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right in terms of a campaign. Even if you look at the issues that emerged in Ferguson, and you saw the nation galvanize around that particular issue, you had people coming from across the country. You had young prosecutors, African-American prosecutors, who organized their colleagues from colleges and universities to go to Ferguson to create days of protest and to help people organize. I think until we kind of figure out how we develop a real clear communication strategy that drills down to the grassroots and help people to continue to understand this issue, because without having somebody confirm, you got Eric Holder, who's done a tremendous job sitting on the limb, ready to exit, and you've got Loretta Lynch ready to come in and, pick up the mantle and move forward. And we got inactivity.
You also need to be focused, though, on specific senators like Mark Kirk, who is going to have a tight reelection, is somebody to focus on.
Yeah, but I think first, who's in leadership? Who's in leadership?
Obviously, McConnell in the gang, but we don't know. McConnell hasn't said how he's going to vote, which is a strange
But,
thing.
but here's what I'm thinking. Again, you talk about.
But he's trying to placate the Tea Party in the Senate.
Right, I got it. But I'm saying if you target strategy, here's why for me, I don't make it my motive in terms of the senators who are in trouble. Because first of all, it's 2015.
Well, she needs 2 votes, though.
No.
So it gets down to that 49 has to become 50.
Right, but
So-
see, but before you get to the vote, it has to
Right.
be scheduled.
Absolutely.
And my deal is you need to target the Republican leadership.
Absolutely.
The initial pressure needs to be schedule the vote.
Right, absolutely.
And then once you get scheduled the vote, then it's now we're going to target folks when it comes to voting. But until that vote is scheduled, it's irrelevant.
That pressure has to come, though, in the form of something like money or votes. Of course, McConnell could care about neither because he just won re-election. So it gets really difficult. He can kind of say, I don't care, I can just ignore you. And that's basically what he's doing.
Here's the deal. He can do that except if they show up at every speech he gives. Except when he's having a town hall. Except when he's going to church on Sunday. No, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
So the deal is, so it has to be Senator McConnell. Until you schedule a vote, wherever you go, we go.
Right, yeah.
We're going to follow you all around, and we're going to target leadership, because at some point, you're going to say, man, I'm tired of these folks
Right.
outside my door, outside my house, at my church. That's what you have to do.
That's what they did with the FCC chairman over net neutrality.
So I'm
They went
saying.
to his house. And that visual alone
This
has
is
power.
simple. Schedule a vote.
Right.
And you know, the sad thing is, from our intelligence, is Loretta Lynch is losing votes every day. The longer that this is drawn out, her support is going down and down and down. This is not a winning proposition to stretch it out like this by any stretch of the imagination.
And that's why the public pressure has to be there, because it also remains top of mind. Here's the deal. As long as people are forgetting that this nomination is out there, it's dead in the water.
Yeah.
And so the pressure has to be there. It has to be this constant pressure. And then when you call out those women's groups, then you also go call Concerned Women for America. Say, I'm sorry, is it your name, Concerned Women for America?
Right.
How are you opposed to this woman?
And Hillary Clinton. There's a lot of people who should
Absolutely.
actually be speaking up.
Hold tight 1 second. When we come back, folks, 16 states have more prisoners than